On April 2nd, 2024, Glia and I packed up the truck camper and hit the road. It was a little snowier than we had anticipated for the beginning of April, but we had a friend to meet in St. George, Utah on April 6th, so it was time to hit the road. We're on the road again and headed to Utah. It's been a little while since I did my road trip up to Alaska last summer, and so it feels a little exciting and different to be back planning to live in the truck camper for a couple of months again. But I'm really excited for another road trip. I'm hoping that the weather improves as I keep driving. Today it is snowing and cold in Minnesota, and I think it's supposed to be a little bit cold at my first stop in South Dakota tonight, but hopefully from there we will start to get some nicer weather, and hopefully Utah will be beautiful. So we're excited to hit the road. Leah's chilling in the backseat behind me. I've got my coffee. We didn't stop for caribou this morning, but I do have my coffee, and we are ready for an 8-hour drive today. Glia and I just made it to a rest stop near the border of Minnesota and South Dakota. We've still got about 6 hours of driving to go today, but we're getting a chance to stretch our legs and get a little break out of the car. And I was really excited. This rest stop has a whole paved walking trail next to it. And if you can see over here, some nice views of a river. And the snow has stopped, so thank goodness. I really wasn't wanting to drive 8 hours in snowy conditions, and I wasn't expecting it to be as bad as it was when I started off this morning, so we're happy to just be in some rain now. Back on the road, here we go. We finally found some sun, yay! Land of the windmills. We're headed west. Getting close to Badlands National Park, but it is awful snowy. Can you see some of the Badlands out there? They are beautiful, dusted in the snow. We made it to the Sage Creek Campground, and it's beautiful and nice, and we're excited to spend the night. So we just got the camper all set up, and Glia and I are just finishing up some dinner. So she's finishing her meal right now, and then we've still got a little bit of daylight out, so we're probably going to take another short walk and then get ready for bed and tuck in. It's supposed to be a little chilly tonight, maybe down to around 25 degrees. That'll be our coldest night in the camper so far, so we're hoping that it goes well. Wish us luck. There's some ice on the windows this morning. Glia and I did pretty good overnight. She's stuck in down there. But it is below freezing and cold. It is a very cold morning out today. We're just getting our little stroll in, and then we're gonna go back to the camper, grab some breakfast, and get on the road. At least if we get on the road, the car can warm up. But it's pretty out here. Whenever it gets really cold, you can see the foam on the truck camper. See the markings? Living in a small space, there's always a lot of moving things around. So moving things off of a bench so you can open a bench, moving the dog around so you can open things and get underneath. But I am really enjoying the new setup of this truck camper. It's been very nice to have the bench storage, very nice to have the countertop to put things on. Here I'm grabbing Glia's breakfast out of her dog food container, which sits in the storage bench. And after she's taken care of, I can come back in and start getting things ready for myself. Grabbing some cereal and then starting a little bit of water boiling so that I can make some warm coffee. And also getting the space heater on so that Glia has a little bit of warmth as she huddles in her coat in the cold weather. Time to move on to the next spot. On the road again, here we go. After leaving the Badlands, our first stop of the day was to take a little hike in Black Hills National Forest. We stopped at the Flume Loop Trail, and it was a very nice, easy walk through the woods, over some kind of rocky formations, which were pretty. There were some beautiful overlooks of the landscape around the area. And this hike is really close to Rapid City, South Dakota, and all of the attractions that are there. But despite this being a fairly popular vacation spot, we mostly had the trail to ourselves. We're leaving the Flume trailhead. It was a really nice walk and we enjoyed the sunshine this morning, but I'm also excited to get back on the road and start getting closer to Utah. Just arrived in Wyoming. Just completed a gas stop in Newcastle, Wyoming. It's hard to see in the background, but you can see for so far. Some beautiful snow-capped mountains in the distance. I'm a little concerned that my campsite pick for the night might be up towards that elevation, and I'm really enjoying the 67 degrees out that I've got down here. And I just got to this lovely campsite. It's a like $12 a night campsite, so it does cost a little bit of something, but we got this spot right by the river. Julia's enjoying her supper already. I'm about to make mine. We're in Wyoming, just outside of Casper, and this place I think was called Pizza Draw, so it's a nice spot. We're happy to have a little bit of peace and quiet. The main campground is way over there, so we've got a lot of nice space, and we've got this river view all to ourselves. My father had this old Coleman stove that he let me use in the truck camper, and honestly, it's been working great. It's got 2 burners, so I can make multiple things, but typically I just use the one side, and I'll use it for dinner and sometimes for coffee in the morning, although I normally do use my backpacking stove for coffee in the morning. Tonight, I'm making tacos. Dinner is served. It's good. It's the morning of day 2 on the road. Glia and I slept well last night. It was a lot warmer and it is gorgeous and sunny this morning. So we're going to hit the road for another nice driving day. But first, a little bit of breakfast for both of us. And I'm boiling some water for coffee. I really enjoy a warm cup of coffee on an early morning drive. Good morning, sweet. Snoozing through it all. Time to fold down the truck camper and get ready to hit the road again. Those new wall latches have been working wonderfully, by the way. The wood sliders have been working just a little bit better than the metal catches had. Back on the road again. And it is a beautiful sunny day. Leah and I are happy to have nice weather. I hear there's another snowstorm coming through this next weekend, but it is not here yet. Taking our first rest stop of the day, and I think we're in, Rawlins in Wyoming. It's a beautiful day out, a little windy, but some gorgeous views of the mountains in this park. Back on the road, and we are on I-80 now. So we've come down from I-90, I-80. We're still traveling across the country. Not the cleanest pet area I've ever seen. We are at a rest stop in Wyoming. We're almost to Utah now. We stopped for a potty break for both of us. This isn't the nicest rest stop ever, but it'll work. Gets the job done, and we're grateful to have it. Made it to Utah. Off for a walk at Rockport State Park in Utah on Lakeview Trail. Glia and I just made it to Rockport State Park in Utah. We're still a little bit up in the mountains outside of Salt Lake City, and it's a little breezy, getting a little chilly. I checked the forecast and it sounds like a storm is supposed to start coming through around 11 a.m. or so tomorrow, so we're gonna have to make sure we get up and out of here and down out of the mountains before that. It's never very fun to drive in the snow in elevation, so hopefully it truly doesn't start before 11, but we'll probably be up and out of here by 8 or so. It's a nice state park though, and there's a nice trail, so we're gonna enjoy that before we get ready for bed. It's actually only like 4 p.m. so we're gonna actually make dinner first, and I'm gonna do a little computer work and things like that before bedtime. We're not going to bed at 4 p.m. All right, we're gonna enjoy this hike. Glia crawled into bed early. And I'm working. And as night falls on our first night in Utah, this is where I'm going to end this video. But I can't wait to share some more of my Utah adventures with you in the future. Thanks for joining me on my drive from Minnesota to Utah.